So here I am, backstage now, on the couch with Sandi Thom, who's just finished her set. It was absolutely great, by the way. Thank you very much. Obviously, this is the end of the summer for all us Napier students. Have you had a fun summer?
Yeah. What a brilliant summer, actually. I think I've been in lots of places. Where have I been? My summer's kind of hazy. You know, when you spend your summer and you can't quite remember what it is you did, but you know it was really good. I've had one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the best summers, really, aren't they?
It's been really nice.
Excellent. Did you have fun tonight? I mean, was it a good crowd to play to?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, apart from like, sometimes I get a little bit put off because it makes me feel really old when I'm like around students again, you know, because it makes me realise how long it's been since I've been in uni. But no, it was really brilliant actually. Like, you know, I mean, everybody in that kind of at that point in their lives is going to be feeling pretty good about what they're about to do. So, you know, generally the crowd is pretty up for it. Yeah, so it's great. It's nice to be back in Edinburgh as well.
Well, I told you a little about ourselves earlier. NapierTV, we've used the internet a lot, primarily as a way to promote ourselves and broadcast ourselves to the Napier students. Obviously, early in your career and continuing your career, you've used the internet a lot, webcast, blog, Twitter now as well, which everyone's using. How have you found it helping you in your career, and how do you think it's changed the way in which the music industry presents itself?
Oh, that's a really, really long answer. Like, I'll try and find a short way to say it. Yeah, it's changed it massively. You know, it's pretty much been a huge turning point in many respects. You know, both for artists and for labels, and you know, pretty much all facets of the industry. But for me personally, it was really like the instigator, I guess, in my career, because otherwise I would have probably just carried on down that long winding road, you know, to get to where I am now. And so yeah, it was I think it was a kickstart for me, and because I think it sort of brings you closer to your fans. You know, it's something that every fan wants to be as close as they possibly can to an artist, you know, and that's where the relationship gets really special. And I think when that's what the internet gives you, you know, with social networks and things like Twitter and stuff, it's almost like you're just best mates, you know, you're texting each other or whatever. And I think that kind of like, you know, bringing that into the artist's world has made some big changes, you know, and it's great exposure. My only thing, I guess, would be is don't neglect the fact that you still have to go out there and deliver the goods. Yeah, so I think if you're a kind of aspiring singer or songwriter or a band or whatever, as long as you've got a bit of both, you know, and use like all these things that are given to you, and at the same time, you know, make sure you practice and keep playing live, because live music is always going to be the way that it goes, you know.
So it was the Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts, that's right, you graduated from. So what advice would you have for all the freshers that are sort of starting their careers at Edinburgh Napier?
What advice would I have? Okay, well, the biggest mistake I made was getting student loan and an overdraft and loads of money just flung at me when I was like 17, and then spending it all. So I'd say, you know, but then again, I think that's part of life. I think you've all got to do that. You've all got to go down to the local shop with your checkbook and buy a loaf of bread on a check, you know. It's the way life goes. But yeah, I guess, you know, don't be too frugal with your money, and no, just have fun, you know. When I went to uni, I was a little bit scared, because it is daunting, especially if you're moving away, you know, from work, because I was up in Scotland and then I went to Liverpool when I was 17, and so I found it really scary at first, but then the first week passed by and I was I was absolutely fine after that. Met loads of people that I got to know, and I think it's like university is so important. I think kind of like going forward in life, you meet all these people, especially if you're in like creative arts, and that kind of an entertainment business, because you all kind of you stick together, like glue, and you go in forward into life, and you still know each other. And then I'm really lucky for the experiences I've had, and all my friends are still, around me, or in my band, or some sort of part of my life. And I think it's really kind of like where you cut your teeth at uni. You really find your feet. So. Yeah, I don't know. Just find the balance, I guess.
So, I mean, obviously you said you were 17 when you first went to university. I guess asking you how much of your freshers week you'll remember is going to be a bit pointless. But how much of your first year do you remember of all these exploits? And is there any exploits you got up to that maybe other students shouldn't get up to?
Oh, tons of stuff, but nothing that I can mention here and now, I'm afraid. That's another interview and another night. But I guess no more or no less than what most people get up to when they're students and they're young and they're out, whatever. Yeah, my first week at uni, I remember being like quite upset actually, but not to put anyone off. I got a little bit homesick, and then, like I said, the first week went by. By the time the second week came around, I was like, what? Wow, this is great, this is brilliant, So the first year, I think it's interesting. It depends what kind of person you are, and what kind of course you're studying and stuff. And for me, like, being in a school like that, it was really all about confidence and, putting yourself out there. And I actually, ironically, ended up being one of the quieter ones. I wasn't maybe the most I wasn't dancing on the tables and doing monologues and, reciting Shakespeare and making a show of myself. I was kind of more like shyer and more reserved. So I just kind of knuckled down and did a lot of studying and I started seriously getting into songwriting when I was around that age, and I picked up the guitar. So I think my first year I was quite studious, and then it all fell apart in the second year. Then it all came back together again in the third year, so it was okay.
Obviously, tonight and this week was organised by the student union by Kasia, Ollie and Stuart, who are our student executive this year. Obviously, in your time when you were at university, obviously you had a student union yourself. How important did you find the student union? How important do you think the student unions are in representing students and helping them while they're at university?
I think they're really important. I mean, especially these days when you've got a lot of students travelling from a lot of parts of different parts of the world, and especially cities like Edinburgh, very kind of multicultural. I guess when you're so far away from what it's nice to have somewhere you can go to where you can sort of feel like you've got some security, especially if you're not so confident and not so, making friends like that. It's dead important, I think. It's good to have that kind of like backline, I guess, something to kind of hold you up and when you need some help. I mean, I definitely spent a lot of time. Well, I mostly spent a lot of time going to get money from various student bodies when I really needed it. I think there's a lot of like unions and societies in uni that help you out in major times of, catastrophic situations and, moments where maybe you can't get your paper in on time or something and you totally need some backup. Those are the times you need things like that.
Well, one last thing I'm going to ask you to do. Could you please give a shout out to all the students at Napier?
Sure, okay. Okay. Hello to everybody at Napier. I hope you have whatever it is you're studying, whatever it is you're going forward to do, have a brilliant time, study hard, play hard, have a ball, and just, enjoy life. And Edinburgh's a great city. You're very lucky.
Well, thank you very much, Sandy. Really appreciate that. You sounded absolutely great tonight, and good luck with your album. So, thank you. So, thank you very much, guys. Speak to you later.